Alright, just wanted to do a little something sort of informal, kind of just talking about some things that I like to talk about in regard to Bibles. Here's a one I wanted to kind of show. I got this is a Tyndale New Testament, 1526, and if you know who Tyndale is, he was martyred in 1535. The Catholic Church burned him at the stake for the simple crime of translating our Bible into English. So let me see here. That's 7, 8, 9 chapters. And this is supposed to be a facsimile of the actual Tyndale New Testament, so this is pretty cool. The Gospel of St. John, the first chapter. It's pretty nice. I mean, I'll give you a little bit better look at it. I don't know how good it's going to pick up here, but this is a facsimile of the original. And the idea was, he called it the Plowboys edition. It was small. Anybody could carry one, and he wanted the common man to be able to read the scriptures, because up until that point they were in Latin. So he printed this, and he was under duress the entire time. He was running from the authorities who were trying to imprison him for heresy, and he was able to get this New Testament printed, and he smuggled it into the country in rice bags that were being shipped in. So he got them dispersed, but he was eventually captured, and he was strangled and burned at the stake. So he paid for that, but thanks to him, a precursor to the King James Bible, I guess. This here is, this large volume is the Geneva Bible, which I got off of a Bible Geeks member a few years back, and I won't mention that person's name because I don't have their permission. But this is a Bible. There's a treasure trove of notes in here. This is the book of Ezra. But all these here are notes on the sides, just commentary, and it has a large introduction up here, and it's all written in the same kind of old school English that unless you've practiced a little bit, it's going to be a little difficult for you to read, but pretty cool. And here is my Tyndale's Old Testament, and this one is I featured this one in, I think, my first video I ever did a few years back, but this one is written in modern English. You know, it still has some of the older sounding phrasing in it. You'd have to read it to understand what I'm talking about, but they'll spell life like L-Y-F-E sometimes, but there's no consistency because until that point they hadn't standardized the English language, so you can spell life 3 different ways as long as it sounded the same. So that's kind of a neat little historical thing to go through, and I'm into the history of things, and maybe not as much as others, but I certainly enjoy some historical background into how we end up with the Bible. And just for your information, if you ever happen to pick up one of these local church 400th anniversary editions, this is of course the dry stamped one, which they don't put those out anymore. It's got the 7 sealed bands. It's pretty cool. 7. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 sealed book. Supposedly is why they do that. When I spoke to the brother in charge of the local church Bible publishers years ago, that's what he told me. Anyway, they still make these. They're not dry stamped anymore. They just have the gold stamping. They still make these, and if you ever happen to pick one up, you will see that inside there is a history of how we got the Bible in English. And it is, 37 pages of just this type of information. And it traces it back to Peter's sermon and on the day of Pentecost, and 3,000 people got saved, and every man heard it in his language, and because of that, they dispersed throughout the world. They printed the Bible in their language, and as the languages and things changed, on and on, through Wycliffe, through William Tyndale, and finally, the King James Bible came to be in 1611. So it's an interesting little historical document in there, and then in addition to that, they're going to have the translator to the reader in there also. So that's a neat little book to check out if you ever get a chance. And I like to collect Bibles. That's probably no secret to anybody who's watched my videos. I mean, I do tend to focus on things that you can buy now, but I've always had an interest in things that historical value, or just interesting to me, I should say. Like, for example, here is a wide margin Revere Blackface, and it dates back to 1940, and it's a handy little book. I mean, that William Tyndale New Testament is a small size book, and so is this one. Okay, and then this one's actually thin, a lot thinner than that one. It's not big at all. But and anybody who's familiar with the Revere Blackface knows that they're not large. Here's the R.L. Allen Revere Blackface next to that one. It's a little taller. So this is a pretty compact little book. In fact, I'll turn it to a title page. As you can see, Book of Nehemiah. And it's got the little margin on the side there, and on the bottom, and not much on the top, just a little. But that's just a great book, and I picked this up in a trade with a buddy of mine, and it's real soft, and it says Edition Deluxe right there. And apparently it was given to George with love from Jovial in 1945. It's a gift. So it's kind of cool to get. I think they didn't know that it was supposed to be glued together right there, so they ripped it open. And this kind of made it actually a little easier to use, because it hasn't harmed the block. None of the. If you look really close, there's still a line of stitching in there. Right down the center, there's a line of stitching, so it's held together really well. But I don't use it much. And it is just the Bible. There is no concordance in this thing. When it ends at the end of Revelation. And that's it. And there's some little numbers there. Kind of gives you an idea when it was made. 1940, anyway. So I like Revere Blackface. It's one of my favorite editions of the Bible. And the guy that I was trading with, he knew that. And so he made sure I got a hold of this one. I'm very thankful for that. It's one of those you keep it forever type things. Maybe pass it down to your children, but my kids probably wouldn't be nearly the Bible geek that I am. But who knows? Perhaps. Another neat little Bible here. This is the old Oxford box, but this is actually a Brevier Clarendon. Got some dryer sheets in there. Keeps it from getting all nasty smelling if you store them. A little trick I learned either from someone on Bible Design Blog or Bible Geeks, but I found that it works, so if you want to try it. But this is a Brevier Clarendon. It's a tiny, tiny Bible as well. I mean, it's a little larger than that Blackface, but, I'm sorry, it's a little smaller than that Blackface, so it's even smaller. And here it is compared to the R.L. Allen Blackface, so it's small. And it's got the thumb indexes, and it's got a real flexible cover. But the typeface is, Clarendon typeface, so it's 8-point bold. So I'm really impressed with that. I don't know how well that's showing up. I'm really trying to work with this camera, so bear with me if it's not beautiful. And if it's a horrible video, I'll just take it down. So anyway, there's my Brevier Clarendon. And this is a 1952. 1952, there's a 5.2 there. So, 1952 Brevier Clarendon, one of my treasured little collectibles. Because I have a few of those that I collect. Because you're never gonna find them very often. You can buy a $1 Holy Bible at Walmart, paperback, and use that if you want to, but the thing is going to fall apart in no time if you use it. Plus the typing is really small on those, because we have them at work laying around. And here, I meant to show you the box, sorry about that. This is a Oxford Teacher's Bible, they called it, but it is really a Brevier Blackface from 1941, and it's got a pebble grain cover, and it's super, super soft. This thing is, 75 years old, and I can still roll it up. I mean, you can't beat that with a stick, man. And it's got, inside the cover there, it's got genuine leather, silk sewn, and it's a title page. It's an old one, and it's laid out just like the modern day Brevier Blackface. I mean, I don't think the Brevier Blackface has changed ever. It is what it is. It is a Brevier Blackface edition. So, still self-pronouncing. Still has the numbered brackets where the chapters are. If anybody has seen that video I did comparing the Brevier Blackface and the Clarendon on that one video, but the lighting was horrible on that thing. And I have a better camera now, but I usually film outside, but the weather's bad today, and I didn't want to, I just wanted to do a little video. And here it is beside the modern day Brevier Blackface, and it still has the Yap cover, which I thought was really neat, because I'd never even heard of a Yap cover until I discovered R.L. Allen, and then to find out that you could go back and find them in other Bibles was kind of a cool idea. So I decided, what, and a brother found this for me and graciously traded it to me. He was very fair, probably more than fair trade. He did me a favor getting me this one, and I really appreciate that. That's a good Bible to have. And I don't use it very much for obvious reasons, because I don't think I could find another one to replace it, and if I could, it wouldn't be very easy to find. And you could go on eBay and get a used Bible like this fairly cheap, and I'm going to show you one in a second that I got for under $30 that you'll be like, whoa. But now with the explosion of the Bible market and people collecting Bibles, it seems like the only thing you can find for a reasonable price anymore on eBay is something that's just totally chewed up and misused. So that's unfortunate, because I don't really know what something like this is worth. I guess it's worth whatever you'll pay for it, but you know, I try to keep a hold of the ones that they don't make anymore. And here is a it just says Oxford Self-Pronouncing Edition on the spine, and when you open it up, it has the genuine leather, silk sewed on the inside. It's got a really soft cover as well, and to my surprise, when I opened it, you know, it says Oxford Self-Pronouncing Bible, but it's a long primer from the 1940s. So if you're familiar with the long primer from R.L. Allen, you know it's a 1953 edition. So they changed the typesetting of the long primer. Back then, back when this one was made, it had chapter summaries over the top of the chapter, right there, and it has a minimal amount of self-pronouncing text. So it's almost like a marriage between a Brevier Blackface and a Clarendon and a long primer typesetting. So 10-point, just a real nice book, as floppy as it can be. And you know, this is a 1940. There it is in the back. You can see it. It's 40. So this thing here, it's getting up there. But you know, that's what I want to point out in my videos is when you buy something that's made with quality material. You know, if you can only afford one Bible from local church Bible publishers and you get it and it's $30 or whatever it is, you know, look at this. It's going to last. You know, and I'm not going to say that, you know, if you use it and abuse it, it's going to be in this kind of condition in 70 years. But you know, look at that thing. It's been sitting in a box, I'm sure, the whole time. It's probably never been used. It hasn't been written in at all. I mean, it still has a little purple ribbon on it. You know, just, and I found this on Amazon, and I think it was advertised as Oxford Self-Pronouncing Bible, and it was $25, and it's got the Yap cover on it. It's not a full Yap, I would call that. Getting close, but you know, if you like the Yap, man, that's, you know, you can imagine how excited I was when that thing came. So there's that, and here it is with the modern R.L. Allen blackface. So, and this, you know, it's a long primer size. So, you know, it's a decent size. Matter of fact, I put the current, well, not the current, but the long primer that R.L. Allen makes. This is the Atlantic Blue one. This one is way thinner than that one, and not quite as long. The text block seems to be a little smaller, actually, but the print size is still the same. But like I said, it's the older style, because the modern day long primer is going to be 10-point bold. Look, just, it's going to pop off the page at you when you see it. You know, when you get one of these, you know, this is quality printing. But and this one is not bad. It's not bad at all. It does have the self-pronouncing over the top of the book. So Zechariah right there is broken up into self-pronouncing text. And pretty cool little Bible. And I have one more just like it, except for it doesn't have the leather lined cover. This one is more of a paste down. It's got a leather cover, but the paper in here is kind of pasted down, and it's the same age as this one. I think both of these cost me, I think I got this one way cheaper. I want to say this was like $15. And it's not as in great as condition. It still has that yap. And it's got the pebble grain right there. Just a nice looking Bible though. I mean, for what it is, I was blown away. And it's the exact same, long primer references. This one actually has Happy Birthday to Mildred from Mother, and it's January 1944. So kind of gives you an idea along the time it was made, because it was gifted to somebody in 44. But according to this number on the back, it was a 1944 edition. So there's the 44. So this one's a 40 and this one's a 44, and they both have those yaps there. And that, it's just really cool. So if you're wondering, if you ever see my videos and you're like, what's this dude all about? I just really enjoy not only reading the Bible, of course, but I like finding stuff that's interesting to me, because that's what keeps you excited about something, because there's a history to it, obviously. But when you can hold some of that history in your hand and experience it for yourself, it makes it more real to you, and that's something I enjoy. And here's a Holy Bible Concordance, self-pronouncing, from Nelson Publishers. And this one's pretty chewed up. It used to be full yap. And it's also a long primer. It says genuine Morocco India paper. I don't know if I can get that on there. But it says genuine Morocco India paper. And it's nice. Except it's not been well cared for. I think it's probably sat around unprotected for years. But it's a long primer. And this is such an old school printing typeface. That's actually, I've never seen anything like it. But I won't go through all that. But and this wasn't very expensive at all, because it looked bad, and I took a chance on it on eBay. I want to say it was a $12 Bible, something like that. I bought a few off of eBay years ago before it exploded and they started price gouging. But they're out there. They're it's fun to get together with people. I have a Facebook page called Bible Geeks, and I like to get on there and post photos. But really, nothing's off limits. Anybody can go on there and post photos, or talk about a verse of scripture that's touched your heart, or give a word of testimony, anything like that. And here's a Pitt Minion that I got. This is an 85 edition Pitt Minion, and it had this crazy long ribbon. I actually cut it some. It was a lot longer, but I gave this one to my daughter. She's really likes to read the Bible with me, and she thought this was cute, so I gave it to her. And it's edge lined. It says Berkshire leather, so that's as far as I know, that's a pigskin. But you can take what I don't know about Bible bindings and fill a book. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly what it is if I don't know. And if you know the Pitt Minion, it's got really small print, but very compact Bible. You can almost fit it in the back of a cargo pocket or something, but I wouldn't want to do that necessarily. There's a good shot of the grain there. But, just a nice little Bible. And here's my local church, Bible Publishers, mini wide margin. And unfortunately, they don't make this one anymore, which is a real shame, because this thing was cool. And I contacted them recently and asked them, you got an old one on the shelf I could get or something, but they didn't. So now I have another Bible that you probably won't find laying around very often anymore. It's just neat little stuff to have. I have my daily readers, and I have special ones that I don't want to damage. Because, why would you use something that you can't replace if you can read something that you can buy every day, you know. And here is a an Oxford edition. This is an older one. This is an onyx. It's got Morocco on the inside cover. It's a pretty cool little Bible. Onyx is tiny. It's like, I think my buddy called it the potato chip Bible. This thing's a little tiny, thin. Next to the Pitt Minion, it's even smaller. You know, neat little Bible, but it's packed with info. It even has a little bit of no, it doesn't. It doesn't have a concordance at all. It just ends with Revelation, and it has some maps. And this is a 1945 edition, because there's the numbers 4, 5. So 1945, and this one, of course, is the Pencil Morocco. I love this thing. This is almost in perfect condition. I don't think it was ever used, and it was stored somewhere where it didn't get any water damage. It had a little bit of a smell to it, so I put it in the box with some dryer sheets. I let it sit out in the sun for a few days in the summertime, and ran a fan through the pages and just kind of let it air out, and it turned out really nice. But you can see there it says Pencil Morocco in nylon sewn. It's got a real flexible cover too. It's really, really soft, and it's a light blue color. And I want to say this is the 1960s. It doesn't have a date in it, but it has that the printer to the university at the time was Vivian Riddler, and he retired in '68. And just being around Bibles enough to see what they look like, and you know, the different Oxford bindings, I would judge this one to be very late 50s, very early to mid 60s. You know, and I know that's kind of a range, but nice little Bible. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to do a little informal video and talk about some of the Bibles I have, and you know, just express my joy at being able to talk with some of you about Bibles, about Jesus Christ, and you know, why we read the Bible is to learn more about Him and to be more like Him as we grow in grace and knowledge. And I love fellowshipping with like-minded believers, you know, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to comment or like, and God bless. Maranatha.